Hi, welcome to Cat and Cooge Go to the Movies. I am one of your producers and hosts for this evening, coming to you from Boca Raton, Florida.
And hi, I'm Cooge, your director and your other host, coming to you from Orlando, Florida.
We are excited to be bringing to you our review of In the Heights in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month.
The theme of this movie review is The Streets Are Alive.
In the Heights is a mashup of two of my personal favorite movie types, a rom-com and a triumph of the human spirit against all odds musical. And to help us better understand this movie, we have invited Niiva, a current resident of In the Heights neighborhood. Niiva is a physical fitness instructor, holistic health practitioner, women's empowerment educator, and movie lover. Welcome, Niiva.
Thank you for having me. Hi, family. Yes, I'm from Harlem, USA, Washington Heights. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to a lively discussion.
Our other special guest is Gizzy, a social media influencer, YouTube credit repair specialist since 2009, and movie lover, better known as Gizzy Credit. He was also once a dreamer, now an American citizen. Welcome, Gizzy.
Hey, Kat. Hey, Cooch. Thanks for inviting me. Hi, Niiva.
This film is a West Side Story without the gangs and violence, meets Horatio Alger meets a lottery ticket movie. Kat, would you give us some fun facts about the movie?
Of course, Cooge. In the Heights is a 2021 film based on the 2008 Broadway musical. The film version of the story was developed and written by Kiara Alegría Hughes and Lin-Manuel Miranda, the latter the writer and lead of Hamilton. It was directed by John M. Chu. He is a hot director of the Crazy Rich Asians. The film follows the multiple storylines of the struggles and loves of Dominican neighbors in Washington Heights in Upper Manhattan of New York City, with the George Washington Bridge as an ever-present background and symbol of the American dream. The original film project fell through and Manuel went on to develop Hamilton. After the extraordinary success of Hamilton, In the Heights film project started back up and filmed in summer of 2019 on the streets of New York. Originally intended to be released in 2020, In the Heights was postponed due to COVID-19 pandemic. The film was released in the United States on June 10th in theaters and streaming on HBO Max under a 30-day simultaneous exhibition window. The film was a critical masterpiece. However, by industry standards, it is a box office bomb. It made just $44 million against its $55 million budget. Note, today a film project must make 2.5 to 3 times its budget just to break even. In this case, the break-even point is $165 million. Let's take a peek at the trailer.
What does sueñito mean?
Sueñito. It means little dream.
That's it? No story?
All right, everybody sit down. It's a story of a block that was disappearing. In un barrio called Washington Heights. The streets were made of music. am Usnavi, and you probably never heard my name. Reports of my fame are greatly exaggerated.
Morning, Usnavi.
Pan caliente, café con leche.
On these blocks, you can't walk 2 steps without bumping into someone's big plan.
I'm making moves, I'm making deals, but guess what? What? You still ain't got no skills. I've been saving up all my pennies in my piggy bank for this day.
This is going to be an emotional roller coaster. The odds are against you.
But there's a chance, right? A dream isn't some sparkly diamond. There's no shortcuts. Sometimes it's rough. Yeah, I'm a street light choking on the heat. The world spins around while I'm frozen to my seat. The people that I know.
They're talking about kicking out all the dreamers.
But every day is different, so
it's time to make some noise.
We had to assert our dignity in small ways. Shh. Just listen. Little details that tell the world we are not invisible.
Ignore anyone who doubts you. We came to work and to live, and we got a lot in common. DRPR, we are not stopping. Every day, until the day we go from poverty to stock options. Today's all we got, so we cannot stop. This is our block in the heights.
Smoking hot. Cooge, what is the plot?
I tell you, just watching the trailer, whoa, the energy. I can still feel it. The film is a love story to the Heights, and it follows the interlocking storyline of Dominicans struggling to assimilate into America, to realize the American dream against poverty, discrimination, and the American government attempting to catch and deport undocumented aliens and dreamers, all the while maintaining family values and culture traditions. Still, boys meet girls, lose each other, and sometimes find each other again or not. And in spite of all the challenges, somehow the community manages to raise another generation of dreamers. The story is set over the course of 3 eventful days, largely in the Dominican community of Washington Heights. Our characters are inspired and challenged by the mysterious unclaimed lottery ticket and a historical citywide blackout. Throughout, our hero, Usnavi, contemplates whether his destiny is to return to the beaches of the Dominican Republic to open his dream family restaurant on the beach, or to attempt to make his dream work in the Heights.
Gizzy, what do you think about the major performances?
Oh, Anthony Ramos, who plays Usnavi de la Vega. I mean, he's the quintessential bodega owner. Now, a bodega, for those of you who are not from the East Coast, is a small corner store, convenience store that has everything. You could buy some sneakers in this in this store because they'll have it. But basically, they have a whole bunch of ethnic foods. The foods of the community are sold in the bodega. You also have Melissa Barrera, plays Vanessa Morales, who is the love interest in the neighborhood, and she's known in the neighborhood as being creative, but of course having a dream of leaving the neighborhood as well. Then you have Leslie Grace as Nina Rosario, the girl who goes to college but comes back because she was harassed and wants to find herself. Then you have, the Corey Hawkins, which did an amazing job, plays Benny, hardworking, committed. And he's so committed to his neighborhood and to the service that they provide, which I believe he's a dispatcher, definitely. Then we have Olga Meredith, who plays the Abuela Claudia. I mean, this character is is gonna touch your heart. You know, this she plays an amazing neighborhood elder who everyone looks up to and everyone goes for advice. Then we have Jimmy Smits. I mean, he's been an actor forever. He plays Kevin Rosario, who's an entrepreneur who owns a taxi company and will do anything for his daughter Nina. Then we have the Gregory Diaz the fourth, which plays Sonny de la Vega. Now, this, if you are in New York City or in the neighborhood that has a bodega, there's always a teenager there who's always working. Everyone knows him. Is trying to find himself as well as a dreamer himself. Then you have Daphne Ruben Vega playing Daniela, the entrepreneur salon owner who wants to make it out of the hood into a better neighborhood. But of course, everyone who goes to that salon knows them forever. That she's a part of the neighborhood, but eventually she has more dreams. So everyone has a little sueñito. Then we have Lin Manuel Miranda, the piragüero, which is the piragua guy. I don't know if you guys know it, but those are the ice scraping, and then you put your sugar, blueberry, strawberry flavor. And he also has a dream too, plays a great character. Uh, that's about it.
Thanks, Gizzy. Niiva, what did you think about the major performances?
I absolutely loved the movie. So first of all, I'm a lover of musicals and thought the music was wonderful. But since I live in Washington Heights, this has been really one of the few movies that show the positive side of Washington Heights and its natives. A lot of the movies that get filmed in our neighborhood are crime dramas. So I thought the performances were wonderful. I could see people that actually live in my neighborhood in those characters. So they were actually true to life, music in the streets in the summertime, the guys are out and the women playing the congas. You hear, music playing from the cars, from everybody opens up their windows in the summertime. There's just music all in the streets. So that's why I really love this movie, because it was true to life.
Kat, what did you think of the performances?
Well, the cast is huge and extremely talented. The ensemble begins with Anthony Ramos. Anthony Ramos as Usnavi is our main hero and narrator. He's an American actor, singer, songwriter. You name it, he was all over this movie. In 2015, he originated the dual roles of John Lorenz and Philip Hamilton in the Broadway musical The Hamilton. I loved Usnavi in the Heights. He represented the Dominican culture, but all Latinos as well, who see America as a land of dreams and opportunities. Next, we have Melissa Barrera as Vanessa Morales, a Mexican American actress and singer. Her career began in roles as a telenovela artist. In this film, she plays an aspiring designer and the love interest of Usnavi. She represented a lot of us Latinas who are attractive and confident in their own world, yet challenged with a larger white population that she doesn't really have all the boxes checked out, and that's pretty much where she is in the movie. Leslie Grace plays Nina. She's an American singer, songwriter, and actress. She has already received 3 Latin Grammy Award nominations. She will portray Batgirl in the upcoming Batgirl film on HBO Max. In this film, she shines as Niiva, the girl carrying the weight of achieving at the racist elite white college and maintaining a relationship with a young man back home. Oh my God, she reminds me of me when I was still 20 and trying to figure out my path at Jersey City University when I started. The weight of the shoulders in her community, and of course, her father living vicariously through her. That was when I started crying, just seeing her struggle. Then we have Corey Hawkins, who plays Benny. He's an American actor. He is known for his roles in the TV series Walking Dead and 24 Legacy, as well as his portrayal of Dr. Dre in the 2015 film Straight Outta Compton. In The Heights, he plays Nina's love interest and a talented taxi dispatcher. I loved him. He was so sweet and committed to his sweetheart's dreams. Then we have Olga Meredith, which is Abuela Claudia. She's an American actress, originated the role of Abuela Claudia in the Broadway musical In the Heights, for which she received a Tony Award nomination, by the way. Her television credits include Netflix Orange is the New Black. Basically, she is the heart and soul of In the Heights. She reminded me of my grandma, so sweet and so giving. She was the oldest, the wisest, and kept up with all of the young folks. Who doesn't want a grandma like that? Then we have Jimmy Smits, who plays Kevin Rosario. He's an American actor and established star for over 40 years, beginning by playing attorney Victor Cifuentes on the 1980s legal drama LA Law. Most recently, Bail Organa in the Star Wars prequel trilogy and Rogue One. And he was also a member of the main cast of Sons of Anarchy as Nero Padilla. In this film, he brings the gravitas. He was the typical Spanish father, singing, dancing, sacrificing, and living through his kids. He was 100% real and totally believable. Gregory Diaz IV plays Sonny de la Vega. He's an American actor, singer, and dancer. Diaz is known for his role as Quentin in the Netflix series Unbreakable Kimmy Schmitz. Although young, he plays a smooth operator, Usnavi's wingman. He was so sweet and brave. He was really something to admire, and because he was just working at such a young age, even with all of his challenges. Daphne Ruben Vega plays the fiery red-headed Daniela. She is a Panamanian American dancer, singer, songwriter, and actress. She's also best known for originating the roles of Mimi Marquez in the Broadway musical Rent. And in the Heights, she was an old school nurturing spirit, striving to succeed, but stopping to help other people. She reminded me of the adults God placed in my path that helped me. She touched my heart, and boy, could she dance. Lin-Manuel Miranda plays the Piragüero, the Piragua guy. He is an American actor, singer, songwriter, rapper, producer, and playwright. He created and starred in the Broadway musicals In the Heights and Hamilton. He has won a Pulitzer Prize, 2 Laurence Olivier Awards, 3 Tony Awards, 3 Grammy Awards, an Emmy Award, a MacArthur Fellowship, the Genius Award, and a Kennedy Center honor in 2018. He was trying to survive selling ices against Mr. Softy's corporate truck. He represented both comic relief and the struggle of the street vendor against the establishment. Mark Anthony as Gapo de la Vega, Sonny's father. He is an American singer, songwriter, actor, record executive, television producer, and philanthropist. He has sold more than 12 million albums worldwide. His role made me sad. Alcoholism is a problem in our culture. Addiction does not allow adults to be present parents. And last but not least, little Olivia Perez as Iris de la Vega, Usnavi and Vanessa's daughter. Olivia Perez is an American actress known for Swallow and Dash and Lily in 2020. She was a cutie who represented the future. Kuj, what did you think about the major performances?
The ensemble was amazing, as both you and Gizzy and Niiva pointed out. However, there's one character no one has mentioned yet that photobombs almost every performance, and that is the Heights itself. From the corner of 178th Street and Broadway to the ever present George Washington Bridge, framing every scene practically in background and the story. The streets are magical. They're made of song, dance, music, and dreams. Before we move on to the best scene, as our style and fashion expert, Kat, what did you think of the fashions? Did they get the Latino flavor right?
Oh my God, yes, Cooch. They were colorful, sassy, and sexy. So they got it right. They got it right all the way. Niiva, what was your favorite scene?
Oh, my favorite scene was actually, I have two because they're very dear to my heart. So the first one was the dance scene where they were dancing on the fire escape, and you can see the George Washington Bridge behind them, and also at the pool because I swam at that pool growing up as a kid, and I hadn't gone there in a long time. And I did from the movie, you can see how huge that pool is, and that pool is actually that big. But it just brought back so many memories of so many summers hanging out with my friends playing at that pool. But now I live right on Riverside Drive where the George Washington Bridge is at. So I see that bridge every day, and the sunset against the background of that bridge is amazing. And I have a dance background, and the dancing part of with the bridge in the background was amazing.
Yes, I agree. Gizzy, what was your favorite scene?
I really enjoy the abuela singing when it was her time to shine. It was her time, her part, and it was amazing to see the whole growth of her and then into her singing because it all starts with her being in Cuba, having dreams of working and coming to New York City just to find work. So this is, it says a lot about the Latino, multicultural, Caribbean people that come to New York City and they just want to get to work and reach their dreams. So it shows her in the subways and how the subways looked when she first got here. I believe it was in the 1940s, and it shows the subways how they used to look. She got here, she needed to learn English in order to communicate with people, and how she must have faith and patience in order to make it here too. So I really enjoyed that scene, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy it too.
Kat, what was your favorite scene?
Well, I think you can actually guess this, Cooch. My favorite scene was the beauty salon. This was such a true, warm, and fuzzy place where you can go home and share your true feelings and doubts with the girls. In the Latin community, the salon is more than just a beauty station. Okay, it serves as gossip and a therapy center. They got this scene absolutely right. I've been there, and that's what I do at least every other week when I go to the salon. Yes. Coach, what was your best scene?
No question for me. The scene in the bodega where Vanessa is cleverly asked by Sonny, Unavi's smooth wingman, for a first date for his friend. Unavi, who, like most young men, is way too nervous to hit on the hottest girl in town for fear of being turned down. Surprise, she says yes. And as I'm sure you suspect, life nor the plot will stay that simple for long.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Niiva, what was your worst scene?
Worst scene? I didn't have a worst scene.
You love the whole thing.
I didn't have a worst scene. Yeah, I didn't really have a worse scene. I mean, there's some scenes that I liked better than others, but I think Lin-Manuel really covered like every aspect. You know, I don't want to give away too much of the movie, but just the whole transition of being a young person as opposed to what it is being an older person and trying to bridge that gap. And we have that, that generation gap now. Young people think one way, the world is open to them, they have their dreams and aspirations, and they want to go downtown because they think downtown is the place to go. And you have, adults who already have had the experience and they kind of know better. We try, to try to tell young people because we don't want them to make the same mistakes we made. But we still have to give them room to go out and make their own mistakes and live life. So there wasn't really any worse scenes or any
Gotcha.
bad scenes. Yes. I love
Gotcha. Gizzy, what was your worst scene or mistake?
Well, I had a lot of fun watching the movie. It's an up and down, emotional roller coaster for me. I got teary eye in a couple of places with each story that was told. But I think that the protest scene, I didn't find, because the movie was taking you, and then it goes into the protest scene, and you're like, so we're going to a protest. It's like, and and then you're like, oh, and of course,
What was the
it's,
protest about?
well, the protest was about the dreamers,
Mhm.
which is dreaming, and of course this happens in Manhattan, New York. Talk about dreamers who are like when Obama let all the dreamers still be in the United States so they could go to college. But I think it could have been told in a different way instead of just being at a protest. I didn't think that, because the movie was taking you in such an emotional roller coaster. I don't think that that scene where you see them protesting and then they go and they have their little conversation. It stopped me there. I was like, oh, all right, so I was watching a musical and it's really entertaining and I really enjoying it. And then it goes into this protesting, which so much going on right now with protesting in the United States.
Mhm.
I was like, why I need to see this right now
I
in a
get it.
movie. so that was my mistake, but I really enjoyed the movie overall.
Kat, what was your worst scene or mistake that you saw in the movie?
So for me, I thought they miscasted Mark Anthony because he is one of the few internationally known Latino positive role models, and they wasted him by playing a drunk, absent father. So to me, that was the mistake in the movie. Kuj, what was your worst scene or mistake?
The movie really feels good. And that is because of Lin Manuel's witty, clever, and complicated lyrics. My problem was this: that leaving the theater, you weren't singing the songs. Unlike, let's say, a West Side Story, where you have Maria, Somewhere I Feel Pretty, Officer Crumpke, there wasn't a song that sort of stayed.
Mm.
Um, it was clever, but it didn't carry beyond the moment of the film.
Hmm. Neva, what was the message of the movie for you?
I think the main message of the movie is to be who you are, live out your dreams no matter what. A lot of times in society, they want us to assimilate into a particular culture and leave our families behind. And I think the movie really stressed where wherever we go, family comes with us, and wherever we're at, whether it's downtown, whether it's in an Ivy League, predominantly white institution, that we still represent our culture,
Right.
our nation. We still represent our family, and when we're out in those worlds, our family is with us in spirit.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Gizzy, what was the message of the movie for you?
The message of just living the American dream. A lot of times when you see everyone in this movie has a dream, and only in America you could achieve these dreams. And I love the United States, and I think that the message that is sent out, that the Dominicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Caribbeans that live in the East Coast, New York City, everyone has a dream, and whether it's hitting the lotto or just being creative and you doing something with your dream. So as we could see from Lin Manuel Miranda, he's made it, and he's an amazing artist, entrepreneur, and movie producer, musical producer. I mean, he's an amazing person, Lin Manuel Miranda.
Kat, what message did you get out of this movie?
For me, the message was no matter how challenging your path may be, your life has a purpose. So never give up trying to find that purpose and live passionately.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Cool. What was the message for you in the movie?
The message for me was simple, powerful, and universal. Don't let anyone steal your dreams, even the little ones, or you'll never have big ones.
Yeah, that's so true, because when you see the girl that goes to college and comes back. She felt some way about dreams, that she had to find herself again,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone is so insecure in the film. It was Navi's insecure about what's he gonna do. The young guy that works with him is
Yeah.
insecure of what's gonna do. The father is insecure about, he's living through his daughter, so he's like, oh my god, like what, like the Spanish people, like I'm gonna put
Yeah.
my daughter to school, therefore I am, I am the best dad. But then, everyone has an obstacle. So I think that you saying that is a universal. Don't let anyone steal your dreams,
Yes.
and it just shows that everyone, all the characters are insecure, but eventually they try and come over that insecurity. And yeah,
Yeah.
don't let everyone steal your dream. That's for sure.
What do you think, Izzy, was the social significance of the movie?
Oh, the urban Latinos get to be seen in a different light. Latinos work hard and play hard. The Latinos. When I used to be in the salon, just like I grew up in the salon when I was 17 years old. I'm 41 years old now, but when I was 17 years old, growing up in Newark, New Jersey, I used to be with Dominicans, and they owned a salon a block away from my house. So I used to be there all the time. And the thing about it was that you have male um, and females that go to the salon. So there was this guy who would work worked 6 days a week, and from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and then he'll go and be in the hair salon, because he has to get ready to go out on a Saturday night, because he has a wife that he wants to create memories with. So he needs to go out
Yes.
and enjoy. And you know what? He works hard, and at the same time, he loves his life. He wants to go out still and be out till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And who knows if he has to wake up the next day to go and keep working, to keep working.
That's right.
I mean, that's what it is. And I think that, seeing that the Latino is, from the New York City is not lazy. The Latino likes to work hard, play harder. That was a big that was a big thing for me, for us to be seen in that way.
That's right. Neva, what is the social significance in this movie for you?
I would just like to expand on what Gizzy said, because I agree in the same light that a lot of times people of color in general are seen always in a stereotypical way, always seen negative, like they're criminals and rapists. And we've had an ex-president who has described people of color in that way. And when you see movies like this, that's when people can relate. on actual a human level, because it's basically where no matter what your economic level is, no matter what your education is, no matter where you go, every person, whether you're a parent or a young person, a parent wants to see their child succeed. They want their child to be happy. They want their child to live out their dreams. Every person wants that. They want all people want the same basic things, which is a roof over their head, clothes on their back, food in their stomach, and to be able to provide a decent education for their children and see the next generation go further. So a lot of times when society feeds into these stereotypes as if, and those stereotypes are a small percentage, but they make it perceived as if it's the majority of people. But no, the majority of people are good, hard-working people who want to achieve more for their children and want to provide more for their children so their children can take their rather culture to the next level.
And the thing that you said right now, which says culture, you know, people got to see our culture,
Yes.
which that is not even, the American dream right now is just building culture for now, because we have lost that. And one thing in the movie that you see is culture from the grandma being the elder. Everyone looks up to her. That's part of culture, that grandma and the elders, they're gonna die, so who's the next to build up that
Exactly.
culture?
And also respect
Yes.
for elders.
Respect for elders. Yes, yes, yeah. Well, everyone in the neighborhood of in the Heights has a respect for the elder. Everyone has a where you came from vibe, and they
Mhm.
represent that in the movie.
Kat, what's the significance of the movie for you?
Well, I see that Hollywood rarely gives an authentic peek into the struggles of, ordinary people, especially in the Latin community. I know I'm of Spanish origin. I was born in the US, but however, I'm not white and I still face some challenges that Black folks face. So it was good to see that the movie put a spotlight on the challenges between both worlds. I really didn't expect to cry, but I saw myself in these struggles. I saw myself in these characters for the first time on screen. And I even remembered like how I felt when I was 20. I had forgotten, like Gizzy said, the anxiety and the
Insecurity.
worry and the
Yeah.
insecurity, because I felt like I'm Spanish and I want to hold on to that dearly, but I want to be able to also to thrive, you know. And I remember that feeling when I was watching this movie. I didn't expect to cry, but I did. So,
I
Kuj,
cried.
what was the
I got teary eyed a couple of times
yeah?
because it reminded me as well. But Lin Manuel has a way of putting little nuggets in there that are emotional, that'll get you emotionally, and you'll be like, you could see yourself in that character at the moment. So for me, a couple of times that I was like, and I'm like, all right, Lin Manuel, he
You got
produces
me.
and everything. He got me. But of course, we don't want to give the movie away, so can't say nothing for that.
Got it, got it. Kuj, what was the social significance of this movie for you?
Well, let me agree with you that it is a tearjerker. Why is this movie significant? Now, that's a very good question that Hollywood should answer. But let me lay this out for you. Like Black Panther and Crazy Rich Asians, this movie provided jobs for people of color: directors, set and costume designers, writers, actors, and it provided a unique insight into the rhythm and richness of the Latin culture. Also, it destroyed many one dimensional stereotypes of Latin folks as being poor, lazy, and criminals. All of them. As someone just said, President tried to report and represent. A recent report out of Hollywood on Hispanics in film is entitled Latinos in Film, Erasure on Screen and Behind the Camera Across 1,200 Popular Movies. This report spotlights the ongoing lack of Latin representation in the film industry. It was just released, in fact, August of 2021 by the Annenberg Inclusion Initiative in partnership with the National Association of Latino Independent Producers, NALIP, and Wise Entertainment. It examined the prevalence of Latino characters on screen across 1,200 top films from 2007 to 2018, as well as the presence of Latinos working behind the camera as well, directors, producers, and casting directors. And according to this study, only 4.5% of the 4,268 speaking or named characters across the last 12 years were Latino. And only 3% of the films featured Latino leads or co-leads. Latinos behind the cameras are virtually absent. There's only 4% directors, 3% producers in movies where Latinos appear, and only one Latina director worked on those 1,200 films.
Mm-hmm.
An additional analysis showed the stereotyping of the characters. The majority of Latinos are depicted as criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Pew Research Foundation found that U.S. and Hispanics will come in 2020 census at 62.1 million people, up from 50 million in 2010. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters have been very busy.
Yep.
Now Hispanics, including you, Gizzy, now Hispanics constitute 1 in 5 people in the United States. Further, Hispanics are avid moviegoers. This reminds me of when I was 10 to 15, rushing to the theaters to watch Tarzan movies. The King of the Jungle was bringing civilization to the crazy, savage natives. And that's why this movie is significant. Yes, I'm upset for my Hispanic brothers and sisters, and I'm not even Hispanic. So that brings us to the controversies that this movie generated.
Yes.
Let's open our roundtable discussion of the most significant controversies surrounding this film. Number one, I'm sorry to report, is colorism. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wrote an excellent article for the Hollywood Reporter reflecting on In the Heights. He said, and now there's a movie written and directed by PLCs, people of color, yet it still reflects the popular adage of my youth. If you're white, you're all right. If you're brown, hang around. If you're black, get back. Niiva, you live in the Heights neighborhood. Did this movie reflect the composition of the population? Were you offended by the almost total whiteness of the cast?
Okay, so to answer your first question, no, it did not represent the colorism of my neighborhood or Washington Heights, what's going on today. There are, I would say, probably half of people are either brown skin or darker brown skin. But I read the same article. I've been hearing about the controversy, and it was just very interesting to me because it almost seemed as if Lin-Manuel was supposed to be the savior of the Latina culture. Now, being from New York City, we have 2 Latin channels that has been around probably, oh my God, probably since I was a teenager. So we're probably talking about 30, 40 years. And you can go on any of those shows any time of the day and find light skin, nearly white actors, newscasters. So Lin-Manuel can't be the one is not the one who's responsible or who's going to quote unquote save the race. So I thought it was very unfair. But now the other part of me always thought was, okay, what was the availability of brown and darker skinned actors? Because you can also go on to, I'm gonna give you an example, like you go on Amazon, and I think it's Stars that has a section that's telenovelas. If you go on all of those movies and those shows, they're all light-skinned actors. So I kept wondering, like, okay, so what was the pool that he had to pull from? Did he have to decide, well, can I really wait until there are darker skinned actors to make a better, representation of Latin people? Or is it more important for me to put this film out and be able to show people what Latin culture is, I should say, in general, and highlight his love for Washington Heights? So it's a little iffy both ways. But, to answer you, in real life, there are definitely more darker or brown skinned people that live here in Washington Heights than what was represented in the movie.
Gizzy, being dark and Latin, were you offended?
No, I wasn't offended at all. As a matter of fact, if you show the whole screen right now of us four, I mean, we all could be Dominican. All we need is a little accent.
Man, I live in but a Dominican neighborhood, and people always talking to me.
Correct. We speak to you like if you, oye, muchacha, ¿qué tú estás haciendo hoy? Oh, hey.
I'll be like, no habla inglés. No habla
inglés. Correct. And then we call you bougie because we're like, no, we know you Dominican. You
exactly.
Just bougie. Yeah.
Yes.
Cooch, there's Dominicans that look like you. Cat, there's Dominicans that look like you.
I've seen them.
You know what I'm saying? There's Dominicans that look like me. I get mistaken only because I have a Dominican accent when I speak my Spanish that I could be Dominican. So it's all in the accent, right? And of course, there wasn't that much Spanish speaking in the movie because it's American movie, But normally, the Dominican has an accent that you could tell that guy's Dominican. Just like Jamaicans with their accent, you could tell that guy's Jamaican or that person's Jamaican, that person's Puerto Rican. I wish there was a little bit more Spanish speaking so you can tell, these are Dominicans or Caribbeans or Puerto Ricans, which I know Jimmy Smith's in the movie, he talks about, we are Boricua, and when you say Boricua, Boricuas, the old school Puerto Ricans say Boricua, which is, those are the ones that came from the land. They consider themselves Borinquen, which is, the Borinquen is from the island of Puerto Rico. You leave the island, you're still going to be Boricua, which is something that, Kathy is half Puerto Rican, so she knows. But no, I didn't get offended. As a matter of fact, we have a dark skin, and he can go for a very dark skin looking Dominican. The dispatcher, I forget his name. Corey, I think his name is.
Yes.
Corey, and he plays an excellent role. So Lin-Manuel being so progressive in his politics and being progressive with this movie as well, showing and adding minorities in it, he still gets attacked. I mean, that guy, although I don't agree with his politics, that guy is the man. I mean, he gave us Moana with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and that movie is amazing, and it's such an empowerment movie for women and just like little girls. It's what more are they asking this guy to do? You know what I mean? So no, I didn't get offended. Matter of fact, I was, those Dominicans that they showed, yeah, I grew up with Dominican friends like that.
And Gizzy, may I add also that I've been to, like pre-COVID, I've been to DR like about 5 times in the last 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Their television, that's why I said Lin-Manuel has a very small pool to pull from, because even in DR, I would probably say 90% of their actors, whether it's a television show, commercial, newscaster, are all light-skinned Dominicans.
That's true.
But if you look at their music
in DR,
if you look at their music is totally different
Right,
because that's
exactly.
Afro. All
Right.
the
Afro,
tambores,
right.
correct.
Afro-Caribbean, Afro-Cuban, Afro-Caribbean. Yes,
Afro
yes, I
Caribbean.
agree.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everything is when it comes to their music, it's
Mm-hmm.
African.
Mm-hmm.
It's so. I mean, I don't know what more he can do. Because you had some salsa in the movie, you had some merengue, and there's very different. Just like there's different, dialects. There's different styles of dancing. Salsa is very different than dancing merengue. Very different than dancing perico ripiao, which is like a fast way of dancing merengue, and then you got bachata.
Bachata.
Bachata is one,
Yes,
two, three,
yes,
four.
yes.
1, 2, 3, 4 to the left, one,
Uh-huh.
two, 3, 4 to the right, to the inside, to the outside. So it's and I believe that all that movement and all that comes from Africa too. So yes, I'm okay with the type of people he had. And of course these are all his people too. These people that he knows growing up in his hood. So I thinking he's putting his people on. And let me tell you something, he knows a lot of talented people to have this the movie, and the way that they portrayed and the way they acted in the movie was really
Kat,
good.
Kat, let's get your 2 cents. What did you think?
Well, I think that Lin Manuel did the best job that he could. As Niva and of course Gizzy mentioned, there is a small selection, a small pool, but you know, they could have done a better job, but they did what they could with what they had. There are people, Dominican people, Latin people of all colors, black, brown, beige, white, you name it,
Hmm.
in the Heights and beyond. And so I just can't wait for the next masterpiece to come out. Um, where we have more Latin and definitely more a variety of people, different colors on the screen.
Well, here's the thing with that, and I'm sorry to interrupt. um he, you Denzel Washington got an Oscar for portraying a crooked African American cop. So if they're willing to give Oscar performances to, you know, bad characters, that's the thing that I don't want it to go into. Yes,
Mhm.
they could be great actors, but don't, what you call it, the Scarface, who's a Cuban guy, the acting of being portrayed that Cubans come over here and to come to sell drugs, that, and that's a famous movie, Scarface. So I want a portrayal or characters that would be more uplifting than to play roles that see us in a negative light. That's all.
Mhm. Yes, in fact, I like Denzel Washington in those movies that he's in a positive light. Unfortunately, he won an Oscar
Yeah.
for playing the criminal.
And then you see Holly Berry.
Yes, won an Oscar for playing the very loose black
Yes.
woman.
In
Yes. Yeah.
Monsters Ball.
And
Yes,
Monsters
Yeah,
Ball.
yes.
yes, yes. So
But
there is a pattern here.
I would see that movie and that scene over and over and over.
Now, people did controversy number two. People did
Yes.
not go to see the movie. It did not break even in its first months in distribution. Why aren't people in mass going to see this movie? Is this movie crossing over to the larger public? Nipa.
I have no idea why no one went to see this movie. Only thing I think of, it has to be marketing, because the acting was superb. The music was great. Lin-Manuel is well known, especially here in New York, is well known for Hamilton on Broadway, that has gotten like rave reviews and has broken all kind of box office records. So he's well known. So it's not like the movie was made by an unknown person. So I don't know if it was just the marketing. Yeah, because what I've been noticing now is that they've been putting movies in the movies and also streaming it at the same time. So I don't know why. I really don't know why. That one kind of perplexes me. But like I said, I really think it's really based on how they marketed this film, because the acting was superb. Well known. Everybody knows Jimmy Smits. Everybody knows him.
Correct.
Everybody knows, Mark Anthony. Everybody, what I'm saying. There was too many well-known actors in that movie for it not to be a success.
Gizzy?
Well, here's the thing. In the United States, with COVID, with the political climate that we have kind of lost our culture. And prior to COVID, the culture of the United States was always, you work hard and then you go and enjoy life and you go in and be in community and be in culture with going to the movies, going to restaurants, not always being on your computer. And I know that COVID changed a lot of things with how movies are done. So maybe this movie wasn't supposed to come out when it's supposed to come out. Maybe it was supposed to come out on a date where it could be like a blockbuster movie or right after a blockbuster movie, which they start off in like late April, early May. It's like the first blockbuster start that that the summer is going to be good with these type of movies. So I think that having been that it was COVID, having been that it's a different time of the year that this movie would have probably done better on, I believe that had a lot to do with the success. But that's why we're over here talking about it, so we could tell people, hey, don't be afraid to go see it. Go see it and enjoy it. And on top of that, it's a musical, so not everybody's gonna be down to see a musical. A lot of people like their action flicks, like their scary movies. A lot of people like their just like we have
Sex and violence.
Yes, sex and violence. And you know what? During these times, that would probably sell better. And a good example of not just being entertaining type of movie that'll take you away, right? And which movie was that? Godzilla versus King Kong. How much money did that movie make? You know what I'm saying? So if that movie's gonna come out, if this movie comes off right after that, it's gonna be like so. Maybe it shouldn't come out when they came out, but I'm sure that they had to put it out, and in order to market, like Niiva said, the marketing had a lot to do with it too. But we enjoyed it.
Kat, what's your opinion?
Well, just agreeing with Niva, because it was released and also it was streamed. It was released in the theaters and also streamed. The theaters complained that there was a problem and it only streamed for a month. So by the time people got word of it, they didn't know where to find it. So they sabotaged their own distribution and their own marketing. Nonetheless, I'm honored to be reviewing the movie on behalf of all Latinos. Let's go support, let's go take our friends to see how much fun we have.
I noted, following the Hollywood Reporter, that both HBO Max, which have been simultaneously, and Disney, which have been simultaneously releasing movies in the theaters and online, both of them have decided that they're going to stop doing that and instead release the movies in the theaters and hold it in the theaters for 45 days before they release them in the theater. I mean, before they release them online and streaming. And I think that is because of what happened with this movie, and as well as others. In fact, Black Widow, the star of Black
Correct.
Widow, is suing Disney.
Johansson.
Yeah, she gets a percentage of the box office, but not of the streaming. She owed it. You took money out of my pocket.
Correct.
So I think that convinced Disney to go the other way. Okay, controversy number 3. There's a very famous critic named Arnold White who claimed that In the Heights is a grotesque product of mainstream culture that seeks a Latino figure who is acceptable precisely because he is politically and artistically non-threatening.
Well, I didn't understand what you said. What does she even mean by that?
Yeah. What? I'll say like what?
What he means by that is, in fact, what we were talking about earlier. When the first black to win an award was Sidney Poitier,
Correct.
and he received it for acting in a movie, Lily of the Fields, the most non-threatening
I thought it was. I
situation
thought it was
that you could
Welcome to the Table or something. What's
that
that
you
movie
could
called?
put. Yeah, guess who's coming to dinner? No,
Guess who's
that
coming
didn't.
to dinner?
No, he didn't win an Academy Award for that. He
Okay.
won it for Lilies of the Field. And then Spike Lee criticized Morgan Freeman when he won the second male to win a Black Academy Award for Driving Miss Daisy.
Mm-hmm.
So what the critic is saying is that they're taking the non-angry Black Latino and pushing them to the front. And anyway, that's his criticism. What do you think about that criticism?
And what's wrong with that? Because we've seen so many people of color, whether they're African American, Latin, and so many negative stereotypes. I mean, we're always depicted as criminals. And so for those who aren't around and they are still in the 21st century, they're still not white people who have not ever seen a person of color except for in the movies and on television. There needs to be a balance of both, because all of us, most of us are not criminals. And so I don't see why it's a problem with pushing more of a realistic, view of a culture of people on the large screen. That should not be an issue.
That's
Especially
right.
for years, for decades, we have been, like I said, depicted as criminals, rapists, lazy, uneducated. So what's wrong with that? He's got issues. He's got issues. I'm sorry. I totally disagree with him.
Yeah, of course we're non-threatening. Why would we be threatening?
Yeah.
Like
silly. I didn't pay him no mind.
Acceptable precisely because of the political and artistically non-threatening. I mean, we don't want to beef with nobody. We're non-threatening. We just want to go. You see the movie. It is what it is. The movie is what it is. You're Dominican. You could work at a bodega. You're trying to kick it to the girl. She may not like you because you are considered a worker, right? And she's like, no, I've got goals and dreams. I want to make it out of here when this guy is a Dominican guy. We're non-threatening, Right.
But think about it, how you have people who have come over from another island and have settled in, I say probably between maybe 20, 25 blocks, but have now, mind you, come here not knowing the English language, go to the neighborhood public school, have opened up businesses, so clothing stores, salons, the bodegas,
correct.
Have a
restaurants, Dominican restaurants. John's right. Fried Chicken is one of my favorite restaurants.
Right, I'm saying has built themselves for themselves an enterprising area where they can shop and they spend their dollars in their neighborhood.
Correct. Didn't you see the Dominican conservative? He was running for mayor, and he went against Sliva, which is the conservative guy running for mayor. But he didn't win. The Dominican didn't win. But there's an actual Dominican conservative who wanted to be mayor of New York City, who has his own restaurant. He's a what do you call it? Restaurateur.
Yeah.
Restaurateur, well spoken, everything.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's just.
Why we have to be threatening?
Yeah,
that's just ridiculous.
Correct.
Kat?
I agree with both Niiva and Gizzy. Latinos and Blacks are not always angry, so the critic is severely wrong. Severely wrong. We
Go
just
ahead.
want to have a good time, work hard, play hard. That's all we
All
want
right.
to do.
And leave us alone.
That's right.
Controversy number 4.
Another one.
Lin and Chu refused famously to yield to the pressure to include top bankable Latino stars like J-Lo or Shakira, and instead went with mostly unknown stage actors. Was that in reference to the box office a mistake in retrospect? Niiva.
Go ahead, Niiva.
Well, that's a good question. I guess I'm sitting here thinking about the movies that J-Lo has been in. I don't remember seeing Shakira in any of those movies, but I don't think it was necessary. I don't think it was necessary. I think the Jimmy Smiths and all the one and other actors were well enough alone, well enough to carry the movie themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Gizzy?
Correct. You have Anthony Ramos, who's just off from Lady Gaga. What's that movie Lady Gaga made with the guy from
Rising
the
Star.
Hangover?
A Star is
A Star is Born.
A Star is Born.
So he plays Lady Gaga's friend in the movie. Who's not gonna be like, wow, that guy's gonna be a star, right? Of course, people who watch and go to musicals that have seen Hamilton, and Hamilton has been the hottest ticket item since it came out. And by the way, Hamilton, I've read up, has made like $600 million since 2015. I mean, the guy, that who's not gonna know him? So yeah, he's a great actor, right? And then you have Jimmy, all right, and then you have these gorgeous Latina women, okay, the Rosales, the love interest.
Yeah. Is it
The
true that all
Mexican.
Latino women are gorgeous?
Yeah.
Now that's a man with an instinct to survival.
So listen.
I would say yes.
So she's just so beautiful, right?
Yes. And
That
this
woman
movie
is a
is
star.
definitely
If you see like the girl who's gonna play Catwoman,
yes,
she's a star. All these people are gonna be stars. So I'm glad that they went with these, actors like that, because as a Latino, I already know J-Lo. I already know Shakira. And by the way, J-Lo ain't the best actress out there either.
I didn't want to say that.
All right.
I
She ain't the
don't know
best,
that.
and she ain't the best singer either. All right. But she's a great entertainer. All right. And people know her because she's old school, Maybe she could have played the character of the salon owner, but I don't see the Daphne who played the character. She did an amazing job, playing a grown woman who is about her business and likes to help other people, but still eventually wants to leave, wants to better her situation with her business. I mean, that you can't get anywhere. I want to see what's next for these actors that play these characters. I know that Anthony, he's gonna do great because he's an amazing actor.
Right.
Cat.
I don't think there was any mistake with giving rising talent an opportunity to shine. And like Gizzy said, I am curious now to see what's going to happen with these young, blossoming actors, Latinos at that. I'm like super proud. So I'm with Niiva and I'm with Gizzy, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I can't wait to know more about these young, talented people.
I agree. I think, unfortunately, it's going to take more stars to greenlight the next all Latino project. But I think part of the problem is this: you've got to do more to create more stars. In other words, you're blaming. We don't have enough big Latino stars to put in this movie. Well, that's because you're not producing enough movies and writing enough roles for that to happen. Another criticism that some of the major critics have had is the film lacked focus. It was meandering, wandering, was too long, 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it was dull. Gizzy, what do you think?
It's a musical. Like, really? When you go into New York City, you know you're gonna be there for at least 3 hours. You're gonna go into the Broadway, you're gonna go with your girlfriend or your wife, you're gonna go have something to eat, then you're gonna know that you're gonna go and sit for a long time to be entertained. All right. So you're going to go and it's a musical and musicals have intermissions. All right. Maybe this movie was a little bit too long, right? Maybe like I said, some scenes wouldn't have been there. The protest scene, that could be another, 10, 15 minutes shorter. But I think the movie had to tell us the stories, and of course, it's a musical. You know how much work I had to go into making the movie 2 hours and 15 minutes. But of course, like like plays and musicals, it's a roller coaster. They got to get you up and down with the lighting. Like the grandma scene. There's so much lighting in that scene. And when and in order for us to see it as viewers in a movie theater, we have to see it in a way that it's going to be portrayed that way. When you go to the musical, you see what you see and you are amazed by what you see. Like if you're going to see Wicked, you're going to see Phantom of the Opera, if you're going to see Hamilton, it's eye catching. So I think that you got to know what you're getting into when you go and see this movie.
Niiva,
Mm.
was it too long for you?
It was not too long. I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I'm with Gizzy. I love musicals, so it wasn't too long. And I would say most movies, I think we went as for movies, we went through a phase because for a while, movies were like 2 hours or a little bit more than 2 hours. I don't know if, moviegoers started to complain or the studios decided to now shorten them a little bit because I noticed movies now were more like an hour and a half, maybe an hour and 40 minutes. But as we started getting more into, like, for example, the Marvel movies. Now the Marvel movies
Correct.
started making like more than 2 hours because I think like Black
Yep.
Panther is like almost 2 hours or a little bit over. But I say it's all about personal taste also. So for someone like me who's into musicals, it's like the more the better. I don't mind it
Correct.
being 2 hours, and it was fine. It was really fine.
Cat?
And they go quick.
Yeah, it really goes. I think sometimes people just read too much into stuff. Just
Yeah,
like relax, sit back, and enjoy the movie.
Correct.
that's right. So I agree with Neva and with Gizzy. It's a musical. And guess what? I personally love musicals and I want to go through the emotional roller coaster. And I want to hear the songs and I want to see the dancing and I want to see all the gaudy outfits.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think part of it is that the world is not New Yorkers. If you, Gizzy, you're right. If you live in New York and you go to a musical play and you watch 90 minutes of it and then have an intermission, and if that was it, you'd be upset.
Not only
We-
are you paying $115 to $145 to sit all the way up, you're like, yo, you want to be entertained.
yeah, it's not a. By the way, the theater, the pressure to make movies 90 minutes comes from theater owners. They can play a movie 3, 4 times a night.
Mm.
If they get away with an hour movie and get people to come out, they would enjoy it. And they hate movies that are 2 hours or 2.5 hours because they can only play it twice a night and have people come in. But that's why you get that's why you often get director's cuts, which is what they would produce
Mm.
if the art rather than the money was determining the length of the movie.
Mhm.
Boom.
Another controversy I'm sure you will enjoy is that some critics have said that the director Chu of Crazy Rich Asians His final product was excessive, overstyled, overdirected, over-edited, and produced a visually cluttered film. Niiva,
I'm
do
always
you agree?
absolutely not. Like what? I didn't understand that. I didn't understand. It was visually beautiful because and I'm only saying that from someone who lives in this neighborhood. It was gorgeous. It was that the whole, like I said earlier, the whole scene, dance scene on the fire escape with the background of the George Washington Bridge, the open scene of the pool, the dancing in the street. Because I know some of those corners, and so it was beautiful. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know what the critic was talking about, because I tell you, as Caribbean people, whether we're from Africa, and I will say even East Indian, like I said, other islands and stuff, we're very colorful people. We don't wear just black and white colors. It's the, the pinks and the greens and the yellows and the oranges, and that's what Lin Manuel represented, because that's who we are as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Gizzy?
It was well depicted.
I mean, look, when it talks about over excessive, over stylized, over directed, over edited, this movie took me to a couple of teary-eye moments. In order to get to those moments, a director and editor, he has to put you in position for you to get in that feeling of doing it. I don't want to give the movie away, but there were, when you do that, you have to, the screen has to change, the lighting has to change. I think that the movie is also very upbeat. It's not a movie that is downy. I mean, it's a musical. It's supposed to be upbeat. It's supposed to eventually make you think about your life. If it's a good director or a good producer, when you leave that film and you leave and you think, you know what, yeah, that movie taught me something. But as far as over stylized and all that, we are people. I'm from Central America, but my friends who are Dominicans, they're very colorful. They're very stylized. They're very over the top, some of them, and that's who they are. That's what they do. So I don't have a problem with it being that way, because I may not be that way, but if you are like that and you're my friend, I'll let you be. So this guy needs to let the movie be.
Cat?
I'm sorry, but Gizzy, wouldn't you say, and please jump in, everyone else, that is what musicals are about? Because if you look at even The Wizard of Oz with Julie Garland, when they colorized that movie, wasn't like all splash of
Oh, come on.
colors, all different kinds of colors?
Yes.
When
That's
they
right.
when they did The Wiz with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross, wasn't it all kind of colors
Correct.
everywhere? That's what musicals are about. It's about
Correct.
splashy. It's about colors. It's about in your face and, trying to connect to you, to that human spirit, to make you feel good.
Correct.
That's right.
You know?
New York is excessive. It's over stylized. It's visually cluttered. That is the feeling that they were trying to give you. They're trying to put you there in the moment. Latin music and style has always been passionate, colorful, highly stylized, busy, visually stimulating. It was just a perfect match. Um, I guess you need to see this movie with someone of the culture, someone who's just been immersed as Niiva is in the Heights to understand. And besides that, it's a musical. So,
You're
Yeah.
right.
yeah, pretty
Final,
much.
my final controversy that the critics have saddled this musical with is that some people have questioned the authenticity of Lin and Chu's vision. This is a New York community without crime, drug dealers, gang bangers, or any real imminent threats, dangers, or villains. Gizzy, what do you think about that criticism?
Really? So is that what we're going to focus on? Is that who you see us as all the time? We just can't be hardworking people. go for, go to the nail salon, or the hair salon, come out, go to a party. I mean, this movie in those 3 days of the blackout takes you through an up and down. You know, maybe there was violence during that time, but why do you need to show that violence? Maybe the story is not meant to be portrayed as that. Maybe the story is supposed to be a story of community, a story of culture, a story of of insecurities that people have, and they have to overcome those insecurities, right? Why does it have to have a crime in it, or a drug dealer, or a gangbanger? I mean, no, it's an upbeat musical. Give me an example of a movie that's like that, or a play that just portrays. It's not going to be fun. I mean, no, the movie it is what it is, a upbeat musical, and Lin Manuel directed it, and Lin Manuel is the creator of it. That guy, he knows what he's doing when it comes to musicals. I mean, just Hamilton said it best. But no, I don't think the movie lacked any of that. If it did lack a villain, it lacked the villain was the insecurity that each character had. How about that? Right? The villain was the insecurity that they weren't going to make it. The villain was that the dream wasn't going to happen. You know, maybe that is the threat and the danger in each character. It doesn't necessarily need to be a gang member or a drug dealer. But that's my opinion.
Niiva?
So I will say that even though, I do enjoy, Marvel type movies, I enjoy, John Wick movies, but because I like variety, I will say the one reason why I absolutely love musicals is because you know what? It's an escape from reality. I don't need to go to the movies to see what I hear on the news every day, which is bad news, which is crime. I go to the movies and I especially watch musicals as a form of escape. So I want to go see something that's going to be uplifting, that's going to make me feel good, that's going to take me through all kind of emotions because you're going to cry happy tears,
Mhm.
and you're going to really enjoy it. So now I don't want to go to the movies and see all that, and I don't need to see, like I said, go and see stereotypes that I can see about a culture of people on the news every day. So it's actually good to see something positive because
Yeah.
that's real life. That movie depicted real life and the best and showed the best of us, not the worst.
Correct.
Cat?
Well, there's drugs and crimes in all minority communities. This is a movie that's based on the fond memories of his community. I grew up in the Latin community. There was drugs, there was crime. However, I was not a part of it. My family wasn't a part of it. I was taught to go to school, get a good education so I can get a good job. And I made it my obligation to make my family proud. And yes, there was needles on the floor. There was bums on the street. There were people stealing, but we just didn't get involved. And sometimes you're able to focus on good things, go home and break bread with your family and not have to get in trouble.
Correct.
Hmm.
Well, Cat, let's move on to the ratings.
Okay, now this is my favorite part. Our ratings on a scale of 5 stars being must, zero avoid at all costs. Neva, how do you rate it and why?
Oh, for me 5 stars all the way. It didn't matter whether or not it was a box office blockbuster or that it broke even. What to me what was important was that that film got made. It's a first step. um there's Everyone has to take that first step, and I would love to see what is going to happen from now to the future. Like we said earlier, with some of the younger actors,
Mhm.
how Hollywood is going to respond to this, if Hollywood is going to respond to this, because I will say that maybe Lin Manuel or a group of people along with him, and I would like to give honor to, I can say that Tyler Perry is a good example of
Mhm.
where Hollywood did not respect or did not have enough roles for African Americans. And so he was like, okay, so if you're not going to give us the roles and you're not going to, include us in Hollywood, then I'm going to find a space and I'm going to
Correct.
build my own studio. And
Correct.
he constantly keeps hiring the same people over and over again. So
Correct.
he has laid the foundation. He has written the playbook, and that playbook, being the kind of man he is, can be done over and over again. And I would like to see like that same thing happen with the Latino community, because it can be done. Because I'm telling you, there's so much talent out there, and it's time
Right.
that we stop depending on Hollywood to give us our due.
Yes,
Because guess what? It's never really going to happen.
that's right.
It's never
That's
going to
right. Gizzy, how do you rate this movie and why?
Well, you got a good point there, Niva. I rate the movie. If any movie that gives me teary eye, of course, is going to be a good movie. So, I say it's a must see. Be only because it's a musical, and you know, get out of the the superhero movies. There's got to be something different. Hollywood right now doesn't know what to do. Everything is a remake, and the remakes are not even good.
happen.
So I would say give it 5 stars. Must see, because it's gonna be something different for you to go and experience. Hollywood needs more creativity, and you know what? The one that, like you said, Tyler Perry, very good at doing that. Lin Manuel, very good at doing that. And you know what has left Hollywood too? Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler left, and he went to Netflix, and all his movies most of all his movies are in Netflix, and he hires mostly all the people that he grew up with in the comedy scene. So yeah, if we create that culture of moviegoers that want to go see something different, I say go do it. So right now, I give this movie 5 stars, even if it's 2 hours and 15 minutes, even if it had a scene that I may not agree with, that shouldn't have been there. I still say, yo, you gotta go, must see.
Okay.
I would rate this movie a 5 because I love the rising stars, the young rising stars in the movie. I love the wholesome perspective and the way that they take snapshots of the city and the people, and also gives people an opportunity to get to learn more about the Latin culture. um, I definitely recommend this movie, especially with people that would like to know more about the Latin culture, because they can see things from our perspective and learn a little bit more about us.
Nice.
How about you, Kuj?
I normally would have rated this movie a 4. However, thinking about it, I have to rate it a 5. Let me explain why. You mentioned earlier The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz got a really low rating, and so did The Wiz.
Yep.
And what the critics missed was there was never anything like that before. It was like watching Star Wars. There was nothing like it before. You can't rate that just like something ordinary just happened. In the Heights, something extraordinary happens. And I'd never seen it before on screen. I'd never seen that story, that feeling, that music, that intensity on screen. Um, I have to give that a 5. Additionally, Latinos shake the sauce like nobody else.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
You already
knowing,
know.
knowing, knowing the best is yet to come. 5 stars for being first in class.
Yeah, five
Yes,
stars.
Yes,
5 stars.
5 stars.
Niva, do you have any precautionary notes for our audience?
the only precautionary note I have is go into the movie with an open mind, no expectations. Get your popcorn and your drink and sit back and relax.
Nice.
Enjoy.
Yes.
Gizzy, how about you? Any precautionary notes for our audience?
Sure. Make sure you go pee.
For the 2 hours.
That's a good one.
Make sure you go pee, and make sure you eat well before you go. If you're gonna be hungry during the movie, I think is a no-no. You want to be well fed. You want to be able to go to the movies with some type of energy. It's not a movie where you go, you smoke your joint, and you just sit back and relax, right? It's not that type. It's gonna be upbeat. So if you are gonna smoke something, make sure it's a different strain of weed that's not gonna mess you up. But just just
And
just
that's your
different.
precautionary note.
Yes. But yeah,
Should,
but
should you should you eat some Latin food?
oh yes, yes, yes. If you're in the East Coast, go to this restaurant called John's Fried Chicken. Is your typical Dominican spot where they got the food already
What if you're
made out.
vegetarian?
They have
Uh-uh,
vegetarian stuff
uh-uh,
too.
No,
What?
Gizzy. See, you're not from the hood. No, you got to go to the taco truck. Are you
Oh,
serious?
the taco,
To
the,
the taco truck.
the taco
What
truck.
are you talking about? Right, and get your empanadas and your churros
Oh,
off the street.
but John's Fried Chicken, they have everything. And yes, they do have plantains. They are plátano. They have mango. All right. And they have because right now, especially in the East Coast, I don't know about Boca Raton area where you're at. You bougie.
It's the no, it's the Floridita, honey.
Is the Floridita.
Floridita,
All
yes.
right, you may have to get some Cuban food over there with their spices. But I gotta tell you something. You get some Dominican food. Dominican food is my favorite out of all the
Mm-hmm.
the Caribbean foods because it's all on the spices that they put. Some of them may put too much spices, too much salt, too much garlic, and the Dominicans they add just the right amount of garlic and salt. So to me is Dominican food first,
Mm-hmm.
Cuban,
Mm-hmm.
Puerto Rican, and then Colombian. Colombians could be the last. Colombian, the seasoning. I mean,
God.
No,
but just make sure. Yeah.
no Mexican.
Oh, Mexican.
Yes.
I mean, look, I'm a Latino. I eat that stuff all the time. I have a tortilla with everything. Like if pizza, like if the pizza, I eat it like if it's a tortilla. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? I add cheese on the tortilla.
So you have to come to New York, and we have to go to Caridad. That's where we need to go.
Caridad. Yeah, yeah,
Caridad.
yeah.
Yes.
So
Let's go.
yeah, so you go well fed. Don't get too full. Have your drink, and if I were you, I'll have some Dominican rum on the side. If you
Mm.
are that type, a Cuba Libre or something, and enjoy it.
Kat, you're a dating expert. Do you have any precautionary notes? And is this a date movie?
I believe it is a date movie. It is good to see this movie with a Latino, or you may not get the importance of certain things that Nina was upset about, being accused of stealing, obviously. Honor is important in the Latin community, and being the usual suspect is foreign to our experience. In our community, growing up, we constantly hear, I didn't raise you like that. So if
Mhm.
you date a Latino, expect for your partner to want you to be passionate and excited about both their culture and their music and all the things that they love. This movie is definitely a good compatibility test for
Yeah.
sure. How about you, Cooch? Any precautionary notes?
Kat, I agree with you. And I love that. You also have them interested in you as well.
Right.
I agree with you. Even doing this review with Latino reviewers, I've learned and understood things I would have missed without your perspective. Thank you.
Nice.
On that note, thank you, Niva, for joining us from your home in Harlem.
Thank you for having me. I had such a good time with you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yes. So
And thank you, Gizzy, for helping us out from New Jersey.
Yay. Thank you. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you for inviting me.
I know you did. And thank you most of all to our audience. Please let us know what you think. Please email us at kweliworks@gmail.com and let us and like us on facebook.com/Kweliworks. I'm Kat, coming to you live from Boca Raton, Florida. Live passionately.
And I have to say to all of you, I had a ball. This was a fun review. It was almost like it wasn't a TV program. I'm Cooch, coming to you from live from Orlando, Florida. Free your mind and empower yourself.
See you next time when Kat and Cooge go to the movies to see Beyonce's spectacular epic masterpiece, Black is King. And yes, we will be addressing the controversies as well. See you then.